Okay, hello guys. This is the Three Faces in the Dark podcast, and this is primarily going to be a Path of Exile centric podcast, and it is currently hosted by me, the Big L, and then today here we have Joseph and Biased Opinions. All right, and it will be a podcast by us three Singaporeans who play PoE for about more than 6 years, and yep, and this is what the podcast is gonna be about, right? So, maybe to start with an introduction, I'll start with myself. Um, I started PoE back in Harbinger League, so 3.0, about 6 years ago, and that my I would say that my favorite patch is going to be Sentinel 3.18 because the availability of recombinators. I love that particular currency a lot. And my favorite build thus far will also be the one that I've played back in Sentinel League. I have played self-cast Arc Inquisitor. I think it's a very different take from the widely famous anti Arc Witch. So I have that going for me. So what about can you introduce um, yourself, biased opinions?
Right, I'm biased opinion. Um, I've been playing Path of Exile for quite a long time, but I'm like a super casual player. Never really actually. I think I still haven't killed Maven. No, I think I still haven't killed Maven even once. That's how casual I am, even though I've been playing for so long. Um, so one of my favorite patches. I don't really remember a favorite patch. But my favorite builds are Joseph's builds. The one that reminds me that the one that I enjoyed the most back then was a cast when damage taken build, which would ignite the opponent and deal fire damage to yourself and ignite yourself to recover the HP so you can do cast or damage taken again. And it was started with this was way back when double dipping still existed. Yeah, double dipping was like a huge thing back then. But nowadays Joseph's builds are really expensive for them to actually kill anything. So I no longer play Joseph's builds. Then I guess that's all for me.
Alright, so your favorite build was actually the Eye of Innocence build with Razor of the Seven Suns?
Yes, exactly.
Alright.
I'm surprised you can actually know those.
Okay. So how about you, Joseph? What maybe for a start, when did you start to play PoE?
I started playing a bit one league before Perendus, the silver coin.
Yeah.
Prophecy League.
The coin is prophecy.
Yeah, Prophecy League. And then during Prophecy I stopped for a while and then came back during Harbinger League 3.0. And then since then until now.
Okay.
Yep.
What's your favorite patch and build?
Favorite patch would also be Sentinel.
Okay.
Because I played RF and got a Mage Blood.
Okay, very
Mage Blood Hammers.
Alright. So your favorite build is also Righteous Fire.
It's not. I don't really have a favorite build, but that's the as in RF is quite a chill build, and using that build, I managed to get a Mage Blood, which I think is quite what do you call it?
Memorable.
Impressive.
Mm.
Yeah.
For the amount of time that you sink to PoE. Lah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm also quite casual where I play at my own pace. Usually, I play for challenges, but I don't complete them in the first 1 or 2 weeks. Usually, it's like second month or so, then I complete my challenges. But it's not 40-40, it's like the minimum, like the 30, used to be 36. Then recently, it's
They
the
push it
shade.
up to 38.
Yeah.
For the for the MTX, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
For context, guys, I don't think my challenges ever hit double digits.
Alright. So now that we have all introduced ourselves, I think it's also a good it's also a good time to explain why do we want to do the podcast, right? As far as I know, it has been a long-standing idea for all three of us to want to do a podcast, and primarily we just want to do it for fun because um, as of now, okay, this is purely my personal reasons. Is that we have been watching podcasts from the global players. Like there is podcasts such as the Bay Class, more recently Plus Class, and also was there one the Fated Connections? Yeah. There were a few PoE podcasts around, and most of these players they are from the western side of the world, right? So naturally, most of the global server players, they will be playing on the global server. Mostly Western players, they have their own set of thinking. Every now and then, I feel like there may be some new builds created, maybe from the Korean meta and maybe even the Chinese, the Hong Kong server, the Taiwan server. Like they have their own thinking. So I thought, you know what, maybe it's also a good idea for us to actually just spread some information about that particular region, the Asian region, on how we play PoE here. It might be a bit different from how the global players play. And I mean, just for example, right? Let's be honest, who discovered syndicate operatives when they were broken? It was a Korean player.
I think the Koreans are quite hardcore.
Yeah,
honestly.
they are.
The 10, have you seen the 10 div challenge?
Oh yeah. I remember watching a few Korean streamers actually, like they were the first few who started to do all these 10 div challenges, and they come up with very unique builds that maybe was not seen in the global server. But I digress. Okay, so I think that is like one of my main few reasons why I want to do the podcast, and obviously that is quite personal to me lah. But other than that, I think this podcast serves as a very fun thing for us to do on our free time. Like if we are not playing PoE, like if there is some downtime, we would like to talk about PoE. I think this is a very good chance for us to do that lah. So what are some of your opinions on why you want to do a podcast?
Oh, for me, going to New Zealand for our Exilecon blew all the money I had. And if we are to go back again, we probably need an invitation from GGG themselves. So I'm hoping we get this podcast big enough. We get an invite, we go there again. Or else, man, I'm not sure if I have enough money to go back for a third time. The plane tickets there is like 500, 600.
No. The first time when we went, it was about 1,100.
Wow,
And
1,000.
this time round it was 1,400.
Yeah, I don't have that money, man. GGG, please. I know you don't care about my wrists because you want me to click on every single thing. And you still haven't given me good controller support. I know we have a controller mode, but I would like to have some mouse support with the controller. But I would like to have an invitation to Exilecon to save my money.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that way later lah. Okay, if ever this podcast goes go wild lah, right?
It's never happening, but a man can
No,
dream.
no,
man.
yeah,
a man
you-
can dream.
You can't say that, right?
Right.
Because after all, this is just the first one.
Yeah.
So, any personal reasons on why you want to do the podcast, Joseph?
I guess this is purely just for fun.
Yeah.
Then trying to put ourselves out there. Hopefully maybe get some following. Then I mean all three of us have different play styles. So
Yeah, 3 different that we can elaborate later lah, right?
yes.
Yeah.
So we can give our different opinions on our different play style. Maybe it will cater to a wider audience.
Alright. I mean, from your point, yeah, it seems um, like if I was looking for information about PoE, I would expect to see something that ZKD will do, right? Because he's
Or-
the one going into GG asking them questions, right? But yeah, I think you bring up a very good point. Like, if people want to know like how we play here, what kind of play style we have, the casual play style, the more hardcore play style, some of our league start strategy may be a bit different. Yeah, who knows? I think we can talk about that later, lah, right? Alright, so yeah, so are we still riding on the hype of Exilecon?
Well,
I thought Exilecon was a little bit. I thought the con itself was really fun,
Okay.
but the announcements were hype, but disappointing when you think about it. When we first heard it, I was very hyped,
Okay.
but the moment I started thinking about it, I was a bit disappointed.
Okay. How about you, Joseph? What are your thoughts on Exilecon? I think we talked regarding Exilecon first, and then later we split into what do you feel about PoE 2?
okay.
Yeah. How was the con for you?
It's quite both times are quite similar, right? Where we attend the talks live, we get new information, and then I mean we all bought new merch.
Okay. Interesting.
You guys can't see it, but we're all wearing PoE merch right now.
Just that.
I guess.
Okay. Personally, I feel that the second Exilecon has so much more people than the first one. There were queues actually. I cannot believe that the queue for Exilecon is crazy.
Really, I felt about the same though.
I
At
think
least the one that we queued to just for the entrance, I think that is crazy.
I felt the queues were longer this time. Yeah.
Oh yes, the opening, the entrance queue was quite
Crazy.
crazy this time.
And the last time, the queue to play PoE 2 was shorter on the second day.
Oh,
Or the later
yes,
in
yes.
the day. But this time, like the queues to play PoE 2 was insane, like throughout the whole 2 days. Yeah, from what I see.
Yep. We were. I mean, I played PoE 2 demo twice, and both of the time I had to queue for a while.
Back then, it would be. I remember the last day of the previous Exilecon, I could just walk in randomly and just play.
And just play,
computer.
yeah. Right. That's true.
But that was actually no. I remember there was queue the first time. It's just that the time when we went to play the demo,
Right.
it was on the second day, nearing the end already.
Yeah.
So I think we didn't even get the full 45
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
I think we played for like maybe 30 minutes. That's about it.
True.
Okay lah. So should we talk about PoE 2? Like just a brief talk about PoE 2. What are your feels, right? I think one main thing that we want to talk about is the revelation that PoE 2 is different from PoE 1, right? It's an entirely new game. That at least back during Exilecon 1, it was still advertised as just an upgrade to PoE 1, right? And still the same game, but just an expansion, right?
Yeah.
But now it's totally different. What are your views on that?
In PoE 1, we like the one button builds, right?
Yep.
Where there's only one main attack,
Mm.
and then you have your movement skills and other setups. But PoE 2 seems so different that it is kind of like a bit like Lost Ark.
Okay.
So, but Lost Ark, I think there is almost, all skills have
Cooldown.
cooldown, so there's a real rotation to it. While PoE2 skills are more situation dependent. Like you will find opportunities to cast. As a sorcerer, you'll find opportunities to cast Unleash and what's that skill? Meteor.
Yeah, sounds like
The ice meteor, basically.
Yup.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
And then like they showcase the monk where you can call them to get
Power charge.
power charges to improve your skills.
Mm.
Yeah.
So how about you, Bias? What are your thoughts on PoE2 being a separate game?
Well, I went to Exilecon but didn't play PoE2. Big shock. I got a mirror though. My team got a mirror. I just gave the mirror away because I'm not. I don't actually like to keep things.
All right.
Yeah.
You played the the
Yeah.
card game, right?
Yeah, I played the card
Okay,
game.
okay,
But
okay.
for me, I'm very interested in game design. So I feel the split is one of the best ways they could have done to get the vision working without breaking PoE1 too hard. Right, because we can see quite obviously that they want to increase the time to kill so that you will have a reason to either dodge attacks or interact with boss mechanics, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's understandable that it's quite frustrating for them to create boss mechanics and you instant face them, then you don't actually see the boss mechanic. Or you face them 4 times and take 4 portals. So, which is kind of lame but understandable in a PoE context.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's great that they are doing the split. I wish the time to kill wasn't so long, but I think it's one of those things that it'll take a lot of balancing for them to get to that point. I think dodge not being on a cooldown and not taking a resource might be something that will not be in the final version, but we'll see what happens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because in every game that currently, no, in most games right now, dodge is either takes out a resource like stamina. For Dark Souls, or it's on a cooldown like in Diablo, and it's too powerful otherwise. I personally feel, yeah, because the amount of time, or they could make the dodge have a longer recovery time, which is not. I personally feel that it's not that good of an idea, because if they do that, the gameplay might feel slightly more clunky.
Sluggish.
Yeah, slightly more sluggish. But that's a very abstract thing. I believe in GGG, kind of. So I'm pretty sure PoE2 will be great.
Okay. Let's just say what I thought about the PoE2 that I had in mind back then. I thought that they would have more support to because I actually, for league starts, I usually like to play trap or mine builds. So back 4 years back when they did the first Exilecon, it was very big for me, because all these traps that I can use are the Uber traps, and there's a lot of 6 link for me to abuse. So that was the thing that I like. Currently, as of the new Exilecon, they never changed that, so I appreciate that. One thing I realized that is quite big that maybe people don't realize is that now you can't keep dying and try the boss. The boss actually resets the life.
Oh yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
currently, I think they purposely overtuned the game
Mm.
so that it's quite difficult. And then we are all almost running on 1 links. Most of the skills are 1 link,
Yes.
right? And then even skills that have support gems are they don't really have a damage multiplier to them. They are all quite utility, like freeze and shock
Yep.
or whatever. Then, and about the dying and retrying part is that if you die on the way to the boss,
Mm.
and then the monsters just respawn.
Yeah.
So it
Kind of like
I'm
Dark
not
Souls.
sure if that's the intended way that they'll be going ahead with. It's quite frustrating to
Run through
run through the whole map again
Alright.
with no damage and monsters keep rushing to you.
I think there might be some fights, because of how they handle flasks. Flask charges are they are more stingy with flask charges right now. So there might be a fight where Gauntlet might be interesting. It's kind of like in MMO fights where you fight a bunch of ads first, then you fight the boss. So it actually gives them the design space to do that. But I can see why it's frustrating.
I think as of now, right, because we are looking at PoE2 with a PoE1X point of view, that's why we think that it is like some people are saying that PoE2 is basically ruthless with all the like they like to meme about the recharge the flask from the well, right? That one is I think that one is stupid, to be honest. I think you should just have a button on the U or the character, like if you're in town, just let us press one button and fill our flask. I'm not going to the well to fill up my flask.
I hope they remove that.
Yeah. Like, and after playing the demo twice, I realized that they actually want you to think about how you press your flask. And this is something that as a PoE1 enjoyer, I cannot agree with. Because right now I have to try so hard to maintain my HP and mana. But that is also mainly because we are playing the demo with shit gear.
Yep.
Right? Because I believe with enough gearing, you should be able to circumvent that particular situation.
Yes.
And the fact that PoE2 still allows you to play one button build. I remember I was spamming Up and Frost Nova when I was playing the sorcerer, right?
Yeah.
I was just spamming that two skill.
Yep.
Then it handles the trash quite well, but it's just that the rest might take a while, and I believe that most of the rest currently in the demo, they are still using PoE1 system, so they haven't really balanced that shit yet.
The weapon switching though, the weapon switching was so hype.
Yeah,
I lost my mind. I'm pretty sure if they remove it, I'll cry. The weapon
I
switching
think
thing
that they already took their wow from the audience and the people who are watching the live stream. I don't think this is something that they want to take it away.
Yeah, and it's the only reason why I can understand why damage reduction cycling damage reduction is in
The current mod, right?
Because that is really stupid. Because in PoE1, you have one skill, one elemental type, and you do it. Unless you're playing some weird elemental hit trinity of elements build thing, which is kind of rare. Not all builds have that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Having that means that you can't kill the mob for 30 seconds or however long it takes to cycle off, which is incredibly frustrating. With the new proposed weapon switching thing, I can understand why they would have that. If not, I think it's a horrible mechanic.
Yep. I personally don't like that Arch Nemesis mod as well. But one of my favorite class in the game is Inquisitor, so I don't really care as well. So, okay, is that all we have for PoE2, or do you want to add anything in for PoE2?
Oh yeah, like I want to say that currently in PoE1,
Okay.
unless you get stunned,
Yes.
then you will stop casting whatever you're casting. But in
Ah.
PoE2, it seems like
Every hit will stagger
every
you.
hit will they will basically, it's not a stun, but
The mini stagger, right? The mini
Yeah.
stagger.
so it will interrupt your casting, which is quite frustrating as well.
There might be a stat for that though, because we have that stat right now in PoE.
I mean, we have unwavering stance, right? Which is the cannot be stunned one.
We also have a chance to avoid interruption, I think.
Oh, that one's for casting only though.
Yeah,
But I think I've heard of streamers that were playing the warrior class. They were complaining their lip slam keep getting interrupted.
Oh man, that sounds horrible.
That is horrible, right? That is just very bad design if you play the demo and you realize, hey, I cannot jump away.
Maybe they
Don't
expect
make
you to use the dodge instead. The dodge has inval frames, right? I think.
It's not invulnerability frames, but when you are dodging, you technically don't. You will avoid the attack damage and projectile damage. I think something like that. It doesn't, but if the spell is targeting you, I think you will still get hit. So, I mean that one is really just up to speculation because everything that we play at the Exilecon is not final yet.
Yeah, I still
Right.
remember the previous Exilecon, like basically all that's thrown out the window already.
Yeah, that one is gone already because that one was
Yeah.
made with PoE one in mind.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, I think that's what we have for Exilecon and PoE 2. So now we'll talk about what we look at, the more exciting part of the Exilecon, which is the Trial of the Ancestors 3.22. So maybe before that, maybe we will do a recap on what we played this league. So what do you guys think of the Crucible League?
So tedious. Trying to make one weapon for your build.
Okay. What about that? So which part of the Crucible tree do you think is tedious? Just mainly the cook mechanic lah, the one to do like you have to cook
Yes, to charge your. I think it takes too long
Mm-hmm.
for the later half, for the stage 4 and stage 5.
Oh, for the 4th and 5th note lah, basically. Okay.
Like the first few notes are okay. I think the gap is too big.
Oh, the exponential increase lah.
Yeah.
It's too much lah. Oh, okay.
Are we talking about the damage or the amount of time you need to hold on to the goddamn button?
I think it's all the same.
It's all the same, yeah. Because let's be honest. Okay, I mean, I'm just going to say that we are all softcore players, right? I'm not going to play hardcore. I think in forever, right? So for softcore players, I don't even know why they want to make a gauge like that. You could have just 0, 50, 75, 100.
Yes.
Please don't give us all these. Why let us choose? Just give us 100. Like we literally don't care, right? We just tank the death and we come back again. That is, I think that was my initial feelings when I was playing Crucible for the first week, right? I was thinking, why do you give us all these 80%, 85%? Who cares? I just want my weapon charge, and then level because I just want to make my weapon fast. Right.
Yeah.
That is how I think most of the softcore players are playing Crucible.
I'm not even sure if there's a difference between 75 and 80%. I think it only really changes when the name underneath, which only was added after
The first or second week, right? Yeah.
I think the difficulty only changes when the name changes. I'm under the impression, but I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, they did give a EXP bar below, lah, but let's be honest, we can't really see how much the number actually increased
Yeah.
per charge, right?
Yeah.
So for your part, you think that Crucible is tedious.
Yes.
Okay, but Crucible, in my opinion, is tedious for the right amount of power creep. I think it's okay. I just don't think that there should be so many tiers of the Crucible nodes itself. No, the nodes itself. So, if you look at some of the nodes, right, like they have the 25% converting to a certain element. It adds the flat, the accompanying stats like the flat damage to fist, flat damage to whatever. Those kind of stats have 5 tiers. Why do we need 5 tiers? Just give us one. Easier. But I think that is just for them to dilute the mod pool. Right? Yeah. That's my only complaint about Crucible. I think Crucible is awesome. For the absolute top end, they create some of the craziest weapons ever in PoE. So what are your thoughts on?
Undisputed. Well, I personally find Crucible for not really that interesting for the first week before all the broken stuff like started getting discovered, and the amount of damage reduction was a bit much.
Or when you
Yeah.
full charge lah.
When you finish fully charging, and even when I play it now, I feel like holding onto the button feels really stupid. I really wish they gave us a button to give us 75% or 100 or 50. Yeah. I think holding onto the button makes me feel so dumb. You see all the... It's cool to see the monsters come up. But what I really like about the League is Crucible is the amount of weird stuff they have on the weapon tree. So, for example, my current favorite build that got me back into PoE for this league was the Totem Explosion build. And the Totem Explosion builds was really cheap, really overpowered, probably 20 times. 20 times the power GGG like expected us to have.
Okay.
Yeah. So I really like to play builds that are very cheap and can do a lot of content. I still remember way back you could actually complete the game with 10 chaos budget. It doesn't exist anymore. This stuff doesn't exist anymore.
I mean, just to add on your point about what PoE is like, right? Last time, defenses is just 3 points, right?
Yeah.
Acrobatics, one minor note, and then face acrobatics. That's all you need to survive in softcore.
Or you run Gladiator and you have max block.
We don't talk about Gladiator here. Yeah, we don't talk about Gladiator.
Used to be so good.
Right. Okay, then another point to add on the Crucible. I think Crucible also introduced some of the more interesting scaling for skills. I've never thought that people would play Artillery Ballista, but lastly, Artillery Ballista Poison was big because of that Crucible.
Yeah.
Right? Who knew Eye of Winter can poison? That was a very strong build as well. If you play it, right?
Spectral Shield Throw.
Went Spectral
bananas.
Shield Throw, yes. Crucible also enabled some of the craziest build ever, right? Spectral Shield Throw. What else? I personally played the Fire Rig and I thought it was cool because I don't need to find conversion somewhere else. It was convenient for me, right? Then I also played the Glacier Cascade. You trigger a Ice Nova at the end of the last burst. I thought that one was quite special, but I don't see many people playing it. So I think, and I heard that they will bring some of those back, but when I see the patch notes that was released yesterday, it didn't mention any. So,
I think they brought it back in the form of like the newer support gems.
Support gems.
Yeah, I cannot remember on the top of my head now, but it's like, for example, like maybe this is the way they are going to do it in PoE 2 because, or maybe your skill gem it has more damage, and your support gems are really all utilities. So they will just augment how your skill work.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can agree to that but the fact that they say that PoE 2 and 1 is split now, it makes it very hard for me to also find that particular argument to be substantiated, I feel, right? Okay. So do we want to talk about what characters that we play this league, and after that then maybe we talk about what we will expect for 3.22?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so what characters have you played this league, guys?
I league started with Pathfinder Toxic Rain Totems. The first basic, well, at least it was a new ascendancy, but the first basic build that I've used for league start for a while. I'm surprised they didn't nerf Pathfinder.
It was reworked, right? This is the league.
Oh yeah, this is the league. Yeah, but I mean in the patch notes that we might be talking about later. I think Pathfinder is broken. I think it's because it didn't get nerfed. I think Pathfinder should be the strongest ascendancy to league start with the next league. I think I yeah, I just thought that Pathfinder Toxic Rain, I didn't really understand how to scale it properly because I'm a noob, and it wasn't very clear how I could progress from there. But I played that, and then I took a break from PoE. I played a little bit of Diablo 4. I hated Diablo 4. I didn't really hate Diablo 4, but like Diablo 4 was pretty bad for me, and it made me feel like playing Path of Exile. So I came back, I made the Totem Explode build, and my life was great. I played a Ignite. I made a Ghetto Ignite Elementalist for the
Explode Totem.
yeah, for the Explode Totems. Yeah, because I love Ignite proliferations. I love it when the entire map just disappears.
Okay.
And Totem, the Explode Totem build was so powerful that I didn't need to care about my damage at all. I didn't need to think about how to scale the damage or anything. All I needed to do was, I have a bow with 600% totem life as damage, and I could kill it. I could kill lots of stuff. I was a very happy man. I hope there's something as strong next season. Yeah.
Okay. How about you, Joseph? What characters have you played this league?
I also started with Toxic Rain Totems.
Okay.
Yeah, Pathfinder. Then that was pretty tanky with all the your 3 elemental flasks, and then lightning coil, and all the other rare parts that give you feast convert to elements. Okay, then after that, I tried to craft a physical bow, and then tried bleed.
Gladiator or champion? Champion.
Yes, I think champion.
Alright.
Wanted to try out with Asylum, the snipe, level 30 snipe.
Oh.
But in the end, it didn't felt as smooth as playing the Toxic Rain Totems. Then I just sold my bow away, and then what did I try? Poison Molten Strike with the Philmonic Dagger.
Philmonic Dagger. Oh, the high dagger. Okay.
Yep. That I tried to respect my
Pathfinder.
my Pathfinder for that, and in the end, I respect it again to play Poison Shockwave Totems. Okay. Yep, that's all I've been up to.
How much was the Asylum when you bought it, by the way?
I think most people use the Snipe Support Gem instead of
Asylum.
using the Asylum, yes.
So
it was quite cheap. Yep.
You got it for 1C or like 10C?
I think so. I can't remember.
Do you still remember when ZGD made ZGD first made the Asylum bow, the Bleed bow? I'm not sure if it was ZGD, but
It was
back in Delirium.
Delirium. That was 3.9.
Asylum was so expensive.
No, but also because Asylum used to be a Delirium specific drop. Now it's core drop.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why the price is 10.
I see. That's
Alright.
interesting.
So I think I'm the one that played the most this league. I played four builds. My league starter for Crucible was an Inquisitor Ice Trap. It was alright. I didn't like the play style eventually because I would fall every other tier 16 maps as usual. A league starter sucks. So I used that one to farm good amount of currency. Then I was very experimental with the Crucible tree. So I am quite lucky to be able to make strength stacking. So basically, I made a Brutal Slap Sprinkler that has out of all the 5 nodes, right? I actually have all 5 nodes can be used. So thankfully, and I played I happened to chance this Brutal Slap Sprinkler in 250 chances. So it was very lucky. I played what's the skill? The Cons Path Bottoms.
Yeah, where
Cons
the
Path Bottoms.
fifth note converts it to
Yeah, it converts all the
Chaos.
fire damage from Cons Path into Chaos. So I was debating on which ascendancy to use for this second build. Then I eventually choose to play the Scion because Scion has the availability of Chieftain for the Autumn Leech, and also I can also get I can get Hierophant for +1, which is a very weird combination, seeing that how most Scion always like to take the Pathfinder for sustain. Mine didn't have sustain, but it packed quite a good damage lah, I would say. I spent, I think, within the first 2 weeks, that particular Brutal Slap Sprinkler probably cost me about 20 to 30 div to buy all the fodders to make this particular scepter. Yep. Then for my third build, so the Scion was made to kill bosses. I killed quite a lot of bosses there. No Ubers yet. I haven't bring it to Ubers because I don't think the build is that good for my standard. Then I went to play Elementalist, Glacier, self-cast Glacier Cascade.
Oh,
Self-cast Glacier Cascade because it has the fifth note where, like I said just now, it triggers the Ice Nova at the last burst.
did you link Unleash to it?
No, it's self-cast. So it's just good old frenzy power charge stacking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the weird thing is why am I doing this on Elementalist? Because I bought the Forbidden Flesh and Flame for the Occultist, the +1 power charge.
Ah,
Yeah, so I played on the Elementalist, and the reason why I played there was because Elementalist had the explosion node and the AoE nodes,
right.
so that I can do big explosions with Glacier Cascade. Glacier Cascade has just always been one of the skills that I like to play self-cast. It's not a particularly good skill. It's just something that I like to play. And the only way I could get damage is from the power charge stacking. And I think I abuse very underrated chest, but nobody uses it, the Vo's Protector. Vo's Protector actually gives you the inner conviction. So because I was power charge stacking already with Badge of the Brotherhood with 2 Void Battery, so I had all the more damage coming from me. And with the inner conviction on the chest, it means that my build was also built around Brutal Restraint, which is the one that converts the keystone to the Marrakev keystone. And the one that I was going for was the Flask one.
Traitor.
The Traitor, yes. My build had 1 empty flask, so I was trying to build around 4 flask gameplay. I don't need to press the flask. At the start of every map, I just press 4 flasks and I go map. That was my playstyle for this particular build. And then a little back and forth, I farmed enough money to get another Traitor Keystone Jewel, and I changed my Inquisitor Ice Trapper into a Fire Rig once I had done the weapon. So I played the Fire Rig as well. I enjoyed the build because I managed to craft some kind of sick gear for this character. It's just like a basic rig build, but just more damage and maybe less survivability as compared to what people were playing on Chieftain. Yeah. Then after I convert my Inquisitor to Fire Rig, I think with my remaining currency, I managed to buy a Mage Blood and I played a Magic Finder, Pathfinder Caustic Arrow build. And I was farming Caustic Arrow until I got sick of the game, and then I just waited for Exilecon. Right? So I think that's a very good closure to Crucible League. I think I enjoy Crucible League for crafting the weapons, although it can be tedious as what you have just said. So we should go into the segue into 3.22, right? So 12 of the ancestors, we saw the trailer and some of the gems that they showed in Exilecon keynote that is not shown as of other platforms. I don't think they have shown anything regarding like the Locust Mine, right? There's no picture, but we saw it at Exilecon,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's on the
It's on the
live
keynote,
stream.
right?
People can go and
Yep.
watch.
So patch notes was dropped yesterday. So any thoughts on the patch notes?
Mid as hell.
Just that? Okay. Okay. What are your thoughts about the patch notes?
I think the support gems are pretty interesting. Then the Atlas keystones are also pretty interesting, changing up how we play the game.
Okay.
And ignoring all the ruthless changes, because nobody plays ruthless.
Okay.
What's ruthless?
Okay.
Yep. And the ascendancy changes. Still waiting for GGG to give us some values on
The Guardian
Guardians.
Minions.
Yup.
Okay.
I mean, the first Sentinel node looks like it will be a tank
Okay.
because it takes
10%.
10% of the damage for you.
Okay.
And luckily they changed the second node
To on hit, right?
yes
Oh, yeah.
on
Thank God
rares
for
and
that.
unique instead of on kill.
I mean that's the mistake that they made when they were doing dominating blow and absolution. I think both of those have the same issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. I mean, my opinion for patch notes is that I think there is a lot of Redditors complaining about it. I understand their frustration because let's not talk about those who blindly rage, right? I mean, those people, you give them any kind of patch notes, they will rage as well, right? Because their best build are being nerfed, right? Maybe the explode totem, they were just abusers of that. They got cut in 20, right? Then, but let's be honest, I think people are disappointed with the patch notes because there isn't a meta shakeup. I don't really care about the meta because I always play a bit off meta, but I am actually very disappointed because I haven't seen a new skill being made since Lightning Conduit.
Oh, when was that, by the way?
Lightning Conduit, if I no, I don't. It might be Sentinel or Kalandra. I forget already.
Oh,
So if you think about it, that is about 1 year ago. 4 leagues, right?
Yep.
About 1 year ago, one year plus, they haven't made a new skill, right? I mean, I want to try new skill, but I mean, if support gems are what I can get, then okay lah. I'm not complaining. I'm just a bit frustrated that there is no new skill to play. What are your thoughts about Vengeance Cascade being a support gem now?
It's like going back to the whole PoE2
PoE2
thing.
mentality, lah, right?
Yeah, so they can give better base damage to. They can buff skill gems and let support be support.
Yeah, but NTR is still in the game, right?
Yes,
Yeah, it is.
Nimbus is still in the
Yeah,
game,
it is.
right? So I think if any build really benefits from that, you could NTR and just assume that you have a pseudo 7 link now.
The thing is, Nimis has one thing that people often overlook Nimis because Nimis is actually used, at least for the 5-way that I've seen, the 5-way carries that I've seen, they use Kinetic Blast, but when they use Nimis, they don't actually care that much about the return. They want the random direction. Most builds don't want random direction, but some builds actually want.
Oh, nah.
It spreads your projectile in random directions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I was never rich enough to ever buy a Nimbus.
Okay, the caveat here is that because Vengeance Cascade was a thing this league, Nimis is one divine.
Oh,
For a
right.
Uber drop, it fallen from grace, lah, right? Let's be honest, last league. Sanctum League itself, Nimis was going for 32 divine mid league, right? About 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in, it was about 30 divine. For a Uber drop, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But I wish that it would be dropped to like maybe about 10 div lah. But let's be honest lah, if people are pricing at 30 and it's so powerful, then sure. But I do understand where it's coming from. Now that they give it a support gem, maybe the price the price of Nimis will also go back up a bit, but definitely not as low as 1 div.
Yeah.
Right. So any other feels of the patch notes? How do you feel? Actually, okay. So my opinion is that I think they have done a lot of the tweaking to the Atlas passive tree. Not that I'm saying that it's bad, but I take a look at it at the planner just now, and it seems like a lot of what we used to know how we play the Atlas passive tree has changed, and I think there will be need for more discussion and discovery on how we play the new Atlas, and that is something that I think most people who rage at the patch notes don't see.
Right.
Yeah. There is 6 gateway now, by the way.
Oh, I didn't
It used
know that.
to only have 2, if I'm not wrong. The top, near the Exalt and Ether, there's one. Then bottom, there was another one in the.
Yeah.
The gateways at the bottom were not really used because nobody actually cares. But the top one, I do see people use when they are farming. They want to farm both sides, but that is a very unique strategy, right? Okay. So, do we want to talk about our intended league starts? Is this a good time to talk about intended league starts?
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so what is your intended league start, Vice?
I'm still torn between a Pathfinder because it didn't get nerfed, or a totem build. Almost definitely Hierophant because totems. Totems partially because Sanctum is coming back, and totems are really good at handling Sanctum. And Sanctum was quite fun for me when I was using a totem build. It was not fun for me when I was playing Righteous Fire. So, and one more thing about the league mechanic is that I feel like it might be a bossing league or a league where you have to do a lot of single target damage. And I feel totems are pretty good for that. So I feel like the totems are one of the best pets for it. I could also play Pathfinder Toxic Rain.
But Ballista, which is also a totem.
Which is also a totem.
Okay.
But I don't think the damage scales as much as compared to a Hierophant
Spell totem.
Spell totem,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
So just that 2 builds in mind.
Well, there are a few bait builds which I'll be thinking about, but if you are talking about reliable ones, which I will probably play instead of playing a bait build, it will probably be those two. Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about bait builds later.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are your intended league start build, Joseph?
One that came to mind is Skelly Mages with the new support gem
Which one?
that grants your minion adrenaline and the unknown.
Some strength.
Gate Fury something.
So it gives your minions aggressive or what? What does it
No,
really do?
adrenaline gives.
GG didn't say anything about it yet.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
okay, okay.
adrenaline does give stuff.
Adrenaline has about 100% increased damage now, right?
And movement speed, attack speed.
Movement attack speed.
I mean, Skelly Mages don't move, but the cast speed do help.
2 matters.
Yeah.
Okay. So just that one? Just Skelly Mages?
Currently that, but I'm still on some copium on the Guardian. The 2 notes.
The minions one.
Yep.
It's a bit, man. It's a bit.
But I thought previously you said that one of your favorite playstyle was Righteous Fire. Why are you not doing Righteous Fire?
Righteous Fire Chieftain. Anybody?
No, we don't talk about bait builds now. Don't talk about bait builds now. We can do bait builds later. But no Righteous Fire for you?
Probably not this time. That will be a KIV.
I see. Okay, so we keep in view lah for Righteous Fire.
Yes, depends on what UGG is gonna update us in the coming few days.
You mean Gem Info?
Gem info, and hopefully they drop more information about the Guardian.
Alright, okay. So I'll talk about my intended league start. I think you covered some of the buyers covered some of what I also think the build will the league will present us. I'm intending to start as a Inquisitor because I think Inquisitor is awesome for league start because you don't need to give a shit about resistance. You don't need to care about how much defense the monster actually have. So I think it's just a very good thing to not think about those when you're mapping. So, but this time I'm playing Inquisitor not as an Ice Trap. I'll be playing as a Pyroclast Mine, and I would say that I'm partially influenced by Captain Land. So I saw his I saw his Pyroclast Mine league starting run. I thought it was okay, but I sincerely believe that as a person who have been playing Saboteur since 3.3 until now, I've been playing Trap and Mine builds for such a long time. I don't think Saboteur is the Mine ascendancy to play already. You can probably play a better Mine build on Inquisitor or maybe Trickster, maybe even Assassin. Right? So I'll be doing that, and the only reason why I'm doing Pyroclast Miner is because it shares the same key item for what I want to play later down the road, which is Shockwave Totem. They share the same thing because they both of the build actually wants Astral Projector, which is the ring that allows Nova to be casted right at the enemy's feet. So it's a general QL thing. So that is how I think I'm going to approach my league start. And the fact that Sanctum is coming back, it actually brings back one of my favorite unit in the game, which is Sandstorm Visage. I like that helm a lot. It helped me fix crit chance for spells, and basically once you have the helm, almost all spells in the game can be skipped to 100% crit chance with just the right kind of wand, right? So that's my plan. Eventually, I will buy a Sandstorm Visage. I hope it's going to be cheap. Then, if I do get the Sandstorm Visage first, or if people are hyping up the Astral Projector Ring price, I may just get the helm and play Hex Blast Miner because that will be another build that I think is very good for this league's content. It can boss relatively well, and it can also do simple mobbing for the league. Yep.
Is Hex Blast too slow for totems?
Wait, Hex Blast?
Yep.
Totems. I mean, I've never thought of that, but
It's the same logic, right? Because instead of, I mean, mines, they activate
sequentially.
sequentially, but totems activate
randomly, but most of the time they won't hit at the same time. So it might actually work. Probably will need some testing.
Yeah, you probably want to test that one out first because from what I've seen, I've only seen Hex Blast actively being used as a hit build without like back in the days, Hex Blast people actually use Curse and then Hex Blast. Right?
2-button then.
Yeah, but we are not going to be 2-button gamers here, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you can check it out. I am still comfortable with Hex Blast Mines if I do go that way. Yeah, but I think always good to explore options. Yeah.
I think that's totals actually sound quite interesting. I might go do some testing after this.
So with your intended league start, what do you want to share your first big strat? What is your strat? maybe to earn money, to earn currency for the game, whatever. Like, what will be your first week strategy? Or maybe you can just say if you're not into the strats, what kind of content do you like to run for PoE in general?
I guess, ritual.
Oh, okay, ritual.
Ritual sort of guarantees you some return, some rewards,
Hmm.
and then uh, mm, not sure if it's too difficult to farm essence right at the start.
I mean, for essences, you can actually do one maps.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that is another strategy, lah, right?
Yep.
That is really another strategy. So ritual, okay. So your first week strat is gonna be around purely essence and ritual.
that should be the plan for now.
Any influence that you want to run?
Probably the Searing Exact
Is that okay?
for Chaos.
Alright, that's cool. How about you?
For me, I'll probably practice some big start runs. Hopefully, I can get a decent speed to Blood Aqueducts or white maps, and then I'll rush out some chaos recipes because I still don't like heist.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'd rather do white maps than do heist, and I'll probably focus on making my build do as much damage as possible and be okay with dying. I have 6 portals. I intend to use all of them, and I hope to hit red maps and do blight.
Like, okay,
Yes,
interesting.
I'm a blood enjoyer because I watch anime when I play PoE, and when I use blight, I can put down totems, and I can spend the next 2 minutes enjoying anime.
Okay. Okay, well, okay. That's nice to know. Like, I mean, normally people play PoE and they just play PoE. Like, okay,
No, you
I mean,
play
this
PoE
is-
to play anime, bro.
okay.
You watch anime to play PoE.
No, I play PoE to watch
Watch
anime.
anime.
Ah,
To
yeah,
catch
yeah.
up on my anime and to
Yeah.
catch up on shows to watch.
Okay.
That's Chris' vision, right?
No, that's definitely not his vision. He increased the damage of all the mobs, and it's so difficult now. I used to do that more often before, but nowadays it's getting harder and harder until I'm going to play a glass cannon build.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. I mean, just a brief talk about the first week strat. I think, okay, just for background, right? I am quite hardcore in terms of the challenges. So definitely the first objective for me would be to try to get to T16, get all the watchstones fast. So for the Atlas strategy, I will just be aiming for all the maps or sustain nodes. I don't want maps to be a problem. I'm not buying maps through trade. That's a very sad thing to do. Right. Then yeah, I do enjoy ritual as well because ritual always has the guaranteed reward after every map. But the hardest part of ritual is people actually forgetting to redeem their rewards. People usually just pop out after the map, right? Then I might also take a look at the essence because currently some of the essence nodes are shifted away from the center, like where we used to know. Some of the good ones are being shifted to the far left. So you might have to plan a bit differently that way. Then as for the influencers, definitely I'll be going Exalt for consistent mapping currency. Exalt do give chaos orbs, chisels. They do give orb of unmaking also. So anytime you want to respect your tree, Exalt is better. But I can definitely see some of the gamblers, they like to do the blue influence just for the raw chance to get divine. Right? So is that all? Is that all that we have to comment on this? On the strats that we are going to do for the first week?
Oh, and when I hit the red maps, I hope to be doing the league mechanic. That's basically
Oh yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the league mechanic. It's one of the few complicated league mechanics that we have gotten. I hope it's complicated because it's like I miss the old mechanics where it was so bad, where nobody understood anything until Ziggy or Grimro or any other streamers made a video to explain how to make money of it. Like, even now, I still can't explain betrayal to new players. I have a friend who joined PoE recently. I have no idea how to explain betrayal to him.
Alright. I mean, true. I think betrayal itself, you really have to go and experience how you do. Some people swear on betraying everybody. Some people trust. Some people will use the trust method. They make every line in the betrayal board green. So I think there's two different dogma on how you play betrayal.
I heard the newest version is that you just farm Katarina.
As of the latest, you always want to kill Katarina because it gives you the access to Ashling 4 and Horichi 4. Basically, all the crafting tables, the fourth is the strongest, right?
Yep.
Then, anything else you want to comment on?
No.
I mean, I'm quite hyped for tattoo.
Right? Oh yeah. Movement speed tattoo.
I'm not really a zoomer kind of player, but I like to see how many tattoos we can put on our tree. I just imagine. Can you imagine that you take the stat point 10% of the stat point, take it away, you give it flat damage. Wasn't there one that gave flat line damage?
Intelligence.
I'm actually worried about. Not really worried, but I think that one might actually be really strong because back then we used to have ghastly jewel stacking builds. If you remember.
I mean, we still have no.
But the values were doubled or something because I know it was nerfed. The ghastly jewels were nerfed. So with that, right, we might see a return of flat elemental damage stacking. Then maybe Piscators might come back for a bit. That would be really interesting.
Okay, but the downside is that you are sacrificing the stats. So it may not be the best for like builds like Omniscience or what. Like they rather have flat stats also, but stats to a certain point it becomes diminishing because you are penetrating everything already.
Right.
You have all the resistance that you need, so you don't really need more stats. So maybe from there on, then maybe it's better to stack more flat damage.
And from a budget standpoint, because I only play budget builds, you could actually stack those tattoos. If they aren't too expensive, you can stack those tattoos and also run an Astra Mantis for oil. Because Astra Mantis is very cheap nowadays. It used to be really expensive back in the days of the Baron, but that was donkey years ago.
Okay.
But Astra Mantis is quite cheap nowadays, and you can use that instead.
Actually, I'm also interested. Like they did say that some tattoos can only be placed once. I think those the +1 gems.
Those are placed on
the big attribute nodes, right?
Yeah, the nodes that give you 30 stats, right?
30 stats. Okay, I can see that. Like you probably have to play your tree quite well so that you can take maybe one and see whether you can abuse +1 to your gems, right? That will be very strong.
It takes a jewel slot, right?
It doesn't take a jewel. It takes one of the big attribute stats. So like you know the beef.
Yeah.
Beef
is
like
the one that I only remember.
the 30 strength, right?
Yeah.
So it may just give you +1 to strength gems. Who knows?
Okay.
+1 to strength gems is very strong. It's basically like a free empower.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge jump.
Yeah. Okay, so I think that's our strat for now. So do we want to talk about some of the inspirations that we get from streamers? Because like I say, the whole purpose of us doing this podcast is because we want our views out there, but at the same time we are also consumers of other PoE medias. So any streamers you want to talk about, like do you think their build is good? What would you recommend? Do you want to tell us maybe you don't agree with their build?
Well, Grimro hasn't posted a video yet, so I'm a bit sad.
Okay.
But I like Captain Lance. Captain Lance shares a brain cell with me, and he has the rest of the brain. I think he also went for a totem Lixa recently, and I think I'm not sure what's his most recent build.
I think as of the most recent, I think it's the Frostblade Trickster.
Alright, I think I was
Frostblade
eyeing the
Trickster.
Frostblade Trickster
Okay.
lastly as well because of Heat Shiver. But part of the reason why I'm pretty sure it's a good build because I went to double check the week one review by I think it's Fuzzy Darksy, I'm not sure. But one of the streamers did.
Or is it the Behind Eyes gaming guy?
I don't think it's
He
behind.
was
Gaming.
doing a lot of the Frostblade.
Oh no, I mean week one review. It was
Oh,
there was a
okay.
week one review and Frostbait's but Behind Ice Gaming probably did Frostbait, yeah. And there was a week one review and Frostbait's Trickster was one of those that was featured as
Highly rated builds lah.
yeah, as that is unusual. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And since patch notes basically didn't really change anything, honestly speaking. I think looking at week one reviews of Crucible League might be a good way to check a good league starter if you care about those kind of stuff.
Alright. So Captain Lance is your point of reference lah.
Yeah,
For
Captain Lance, Jungrown, but Jungrown hasn't posted anything that interesting yet.
I think as of now, the only video that I saw was that he was disappointed with the patch notes. But
Yeah.
that's about it,
Yeah.
Alright. So what's your any streamers that you're looking at? Joseph?
I'm just a Matthew enjoyer.
Okay.
Yeah, like I really like how he comes up with different builds,
Every
off meta builds. But being a casual player, crafting is too difficult for me to enjoy that many builds. Yep.
Okay.
I wish it was simpler so I can play many different builds.
Okay.
Mm.
I mean, there is a opportunity cost there, right? If they make everything easy, then maybe the gear that you've made wouldn't be valuable. Maybe that is their point of thinking lah. But obviously, from your point of view, you can also say that if gear is easy to make, like back in Ritual or Harvest League, then everybody will have good gear. Basically, people will play longer, but your gear won't be expensive,
Yes.
right? Okay. I think as of now, I am basically every now and then I'll just go on Twitch under PoE to see what's up. As of now, okay, so as a guy who has been playing Traps and Mines, I am very sad that the only trap builds that I've played as of recent mainly are just fire traps, and those builds are like RF builds, so I don't really care for that. To me, fire trap is not really a trap build. People just do it because they need damage from RF. And seismic poison definitely still a thing. They didn't do anything to seismic trap, so
They didn't do anything to anything though.
actually they did nerf poison.
Yeah, they did
through
nerf
the
poison, right.
through the reduction
Temp
of temp chains and also the helmet craft from the Katarina helmet craft, the one that lets you extend the duration of ailments. So yeah, maybe a slight nerf to poison build, but I think it's long overdue. Poison has been crazy for 3 to 4 leagues already, so no harm there. I don't really like to play delayed skills, so no noticeable trap and mine skills. I think as of now the strongest league start minor build is still going to be Inquisitor, Eye of Winter Mines. That one can one shot Maven, but yeah, that is not a playstyle that everybody can vibe to. And as of now, I'm looking at this streamer called Aero. I really like his take on Scorching Ray Totems. So Scorching Ray Totems is not a new build. It's actually a very old build from maybe back when Shaper or Elder was a boss, was a like the end game boss, maybe about 3.0, 3.1. Scorching Ray Totems were very strong during that period, and I've seen quite a lot of people playing that. It's just that after so many patches, when they change how Elemental Overload works, how Elemental Equilibrium works with dots, how you gain the buff only through hitting and stuff, you cannot use a secondary skill to prop that. proc the keystone anymore. So people actually don't really like to play Scorching Ray because Scorching Ray is a channeling skill. People don't like to stand around because they will die, right? So I see his take on Scorching Ray totems. I thought it was cool because if you scale it enough, I think Scorching Ray has very good damage. But obviously, there's a new tech with whatever is going on. Have you guys seen the numbers on Searing Bond totems?
Ah,
I've
yes.
seen the numbers.
Searing Bond totems is crazy. The damage over time for the Fire Dog is crazy.
I wonder why they didn't do, because if I remember correctly, Searing Bond totems can be done during the run to add 5. I'm surprised the speedrunners didn't really use it.
Maybe because do Templars even get Searing Bond? Maybe not. Maybe it's a Marauder thing, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll have to double check that.
Yeah, we will have to see that.
But if Searing Bond is good, then I remember back when Searing Bond was actually a legit speedrunning strategy. Before it's nerfed. Yeah.
I see. Maybe it was not, but I think it came back when they reworked all the fire dots. When they reworked all the fire dots, they kind of buff everything up by almost 50% because fire dots actually lost all the elemental overload and equilibrium scaling.
Mm.
Yeah. And it doesn't change the fact that Scorching Ray exposure is actually one of the highest. I cannot believe it. 25?
Yep, it is.
Right?
Yeah.
For all sources of exposure, it has been nerfed so many leagues until like the base exposure now is like 10. 10 like from Cluster Jewel themselves.
Right.
All the exposure there is 10. And then specific ascendancy will give you maybe more. Like Elementalists give you another 25 onto that. Then the Elemental Mastery does give you a base of 18 as well.
Mm.
Yeah. So other than that, I think maybe Scorching Ray Totems is underrated, but I kind of like how he goes about describing how the build works.
Also, to be fair, flammability elemental weakness is now very strong. So
Curses are very strong now. Yes, curses are very strong now. Any more streamers take that you all want to talk about? I think as of now, it's just like one day after patch notes. I think streamers are still thinking about what they want to do. They haven't. They probably haven't thought of what builds they want to make. So maybe we can talk about this in the next episode. Maybe we'll do a week 1 recap on how we play the game. Alright. Oh, okay. Bias want to talk about his big builds. Okay. Let's talk about big builds for the last topic of this podcast.
Can you I'm a path of building enjoyer only when patch notes comes out. So we haven't this is one of the few patch notes where the patch notes actually don't matter, but we need to see the gems. Because it gave us 15 new gems or something.
14 support gems.
14 new support gems, and we don't have the numbers for any of them. But thanks to Choser giving us an idea of ignites. So this is completely bait, by the way, please don't follow this. With the new support gems, you could use a skill with a huge ignite. We are thinking slams right now, but there could be different methods of doing it, like a huge hex blast or whatever weird stuff that could happen. But you could have a huge huge ignite, and then scale it with the new support gems that increases ignite damage based on how many ignites they have on the monster. So we have checked this on the PoE wiki. How ignite works is that you can have multiple ignites on a monster, but only the highest damage dealing ignite will do damage. So you have the core of this build is that you have a fat ignite, and then you use Molten Strike, the new return gem, and maybe a bunch of extra projectiles to inflict as many ignites as humanly possible in order to increase the damage of the big ignite. and I think it's really mechanically strong because the return most support duels, most support gens are actually really cheap. So you don't even have to pay Vengeance Cascade, which was like triple gold oils.
Two
gold
gold and
oils.
orange oil.
2 gold oils, orange oil. You can do this straight from straight in white nets. And Molten Strike used to be one of the best skills in the game before it got either got power crit or got nerfed badly. And I think this is actually quite exciting. Life gain on hit is very strong on this supposed build, and with the blood notch immutable combo and petrified blood, which didn't get nerfed at all. And since it's an attack-based build, you can still fit in a little bit of leech. It won't be very strong, but petrified blood allows you for over leech, which is very, very comfy. Yeah. So with all these things, it might actually be a viable build. But the only problem is we need to see the numbers. Tentatively, I might actually try this build if the amount of ignites the amount of damage they allow you to scale is past 60% more, which is the more multiplier of a 20 fuse explosive arrow.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe just let me get a consolidation of that particular big idea. So
Yeah.
it is going to be a slam build to make a big ignite, and
Yeah.
you are going to use Molten Strike's projectile to actually sustain the ignite.
Yes,
So-
with the return. With the return.
With the return. So basically ignites actually refreshes the duration.
No, I don't
No,
think
It
so.
doesn't.
You stack multiple instances of ignite on an enemy,
Yes.
and with the new controlled blaze support gem, it will do more ignite damage per stack of ignite on the enemy.
Ah, okay.
So for example, if the gem gives us for each ignite you have on the enemy, you deal 1% more ignite damage, I think it might already be worth it to run this combo because from memory, Molten Strike, you could have many balls, then when you return, you double it many balls, and it can go really fast on a two-hander.
Okay, so so the only problem that I have with this big build is that do you have to track the duration of your slam, like the big one?
Right.
How do you actually track that?
You can't really track that.
Okay.
So if the boss stops, if whatever you're hitting stops dying, it probably means that your big ignite fell off.
Okay, so are you going to use the new support gem, the Sadism, the one that makes it faster? So that will be counteractive to what you're doing.
That will only be if you're dealing a lot of damage already. But we can put Sadism. We probably won't be using Sadism, but we can use the new support gem, which increases the range of the damage.
Yeah,
and
volatility, right?
Yeah,
the one is strong.
Yeah, that would make the build strong, and it will also be able to make use of Tahoa's Chosen, which I think isn't that strong personally. But with Tahoa's Chosen and a large range of damage, second application of damage will give you a higher chance of getting reasonable ignite damage of one slam.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now your big build also has a ascendancy, which is chieftain, right?
Yeah. Sadly, it's chieftain right now, but I'm pretty sure the idea itself could be
Used for
done
other
used-
ascendancies.
like a crit maybe. Oh my god, that would be so spicy.
You mean the
Perfect agony.
perfect agony? Oh, okay. I think we shouldn't go there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
like your tree is so based on the left side and you want perfect agony which is on the other side.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit hard to squeeze. Okay. Any big builds from you, Joseph?
No, to add on, my take on it is either you yourself casting Molten Strike to extend the duration, to stack multiple instances of Ignite, and you use a totem with sadism to deal the main damage, the big slams.
Ah, okay.
Or it can be the other way around where you use Ancestral Protector to stack the Ignite and then you yourself do the heavy
big
slam.
knife. Oh, okay.
Oh wait, I just. Oh no, wait. I was actually thinking of ballistas, but you can't. You could weapon switch though, but that would be way too tasty. That would be way too spicy already.
Yeah, because the controlled blaze is a melee.
It's a melee weapon, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I think as of now, I mean, I don't usually think of builds that will bait people to play, but I think as of now, Chieftain RF is not going to be a bait, but I would say that it is bait for people that don't know how to play RF. Because Chieftain currently, as I see, don't have damage. And if your ascendancy has no damage, RF is terrible.
Yeah.
What Chieftain has is the max resistance, like all the resistance nodes are there, good for RF sustain. It doesn't actually boost your damage. So like okay, so this is just me, right? I believe that as a RF player you should look at, like, defenses are definitely a thing, but if you are playing softcore, I think you need to fix your damage first. Because if you can't kill the monsters fast enough, standing there, a battle of attrition is just time wasting. You might as well just open a new map. To me, right? So, as for RF, I think if I'm going to late start RF, I am always going to choose Inquisitor. Because Inquisitor has all the damage kits that RF needs. It has the regen, it has the damage kits. Even the people who are starting out as Juggernaut has a very rough start for RF, by the way.
Oh yeah.
You actually struggle until you maybe get Flame War. Right.
Yeah.
And even for Flame War, I don't know if you can actually get Flame War or you have to get someone who's playing the Witch to buy for you. So, I mean, in trading, it doesn't matter because if you have friends, that's okay. But I can imagine that some people are playing PoE without friends and they don't have any access to Flame War until maybe they hit later X, which will become a problem. Jug RF start is never smooth, by the way.
What about Elementalist RF? I think that one's the popular one.
Elementalist RF is a very gear dependent RF because Elementalist has no kit for RF survivability.
Right.
It has golems, but let's be honest, if you want to put your sustain on golems, then you are I think you are playing current PoE wrongly. Because golems are temporary buffs. Even with the new support gem, it seems like there's too many steps just to activate the golem aura for you. But I think we can talk about that. The blessing once maybe the gem info comes out.
Yep. Yeah, I'm quite excited
right.
about the.
I think the everything that we have, any problems that we have with the gem info, can be talked about when we know the numbers. But as of now, I think that if anybody wants to start RF, they should look at Inquisitor. I think traditionally Inquisitor has always been one of the best RF starters. It gives you easy access to the cons ground, which is your sustain, and then eventually your third node you can go and get the nearby takes increased elemental damage. Yeah, that one would probably just fit everything that you need for RF really.
Actually, I think we need to point out somebody on YouTube. I hope we get his name eventually. He posted some tag on putting divine blessing on the holy relic.
Oh snap!
Yeah,
Right.
snap.
So as of now, I think the video that he put up on holy relic being linked to the new blessing,
Guardian's Blessing.
seems like really need to try that out first because apparently the holy relic only heals the things around it. It doesn't heal itself. So we have to see how it goes.
Right.
And does the relic benefit from our vitality? I think from his video, because he was playing aura bot, so for him, maybe his own vitality can sustain, but maybe for normal builds it might not be a thing.
Right.
So we still have to see how it goes. I don't know if it's going to be a substitute to all the Divine Blessing Eldritch Battery abusers, which
Yeah.
I am also. Which I am also. So yeah, that one maybe we have to see when the game launches, because even with numbers on that, we wouldn't know if Holy Relic can actually sustain. Because the only problem with these new blessings is that it takes physical damage. I don't understand why they have to put that line there.
I think it's so that it's harder to mitigate it.
Maybe.
Right. But one thing that I think might be interesting is depending on if it's a max percent HP or flat one.
It is max percent, by the way.
If it's max percent, right?
Yeah.
If you might want to put it on a median with less HP.
Yeah.
That would be fascinating because flat regeneration is actually better.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I mean, the blessing, Guardian's blessing, the way I see it is that they know what we are doing, right? They exactly know what we are doing. As of now, I think the tankiest support, the tankiest minion should be Ancestral. Anime Guardian.
Yes, Anime Guardian.
That one should be the strongest. And
Yeah.
Anime Guardian, you can give gear to it. I remember I had an Anime Guardian. I've seen videos of it tanking Cyrus Storm. So if they can tank Cyrus Storm, they should be able to tank the degen from the support.
Yeah, there should be a free anime. It could be basically a free divine blessing if you put in enough gear to your anime Guardian, or the correct gear.
Yeah, correct. So it will be another place where you can invest your gear, and for how many slots? 3 gem slots.
Yeah, 3
3
gem
slots.
slots.
Can be a thing. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's all for this particular episode. It's our first episode, so I mean, if you enjoy listening for our point of views on how PoE is currently is, you can let us know about what you like about the podcast. If you have any feedbacks on how we can improve, we would like to hear it as well. Then and if we ever post this onto some of the podcast platforms, or maybe YouTube, you can also like our content. If you like the podcast, if you don't like, I mean, feel free to give us a dislike as well. Then you can comment if you have any opinions on what we talk about. Maybe you can also share your knowledge in the comment section. And and if you like our content, you can also subscribe to our channel. And I think that's all for now. And maybe we will try to do this as a weekly upload kind of schedule. We are still trying to rough it out, and once we have a more precise scheduling, we can actually update on all the listeners on this particular podcast. You want to say bye?
Bye.